Welcome to the James Show. That was not Eddie Vedder. That was actually me just doing a impersonation there. Have you heard the name Mahmoud Khalil? Which is interesting. I had a friend named Khalil. I used to work with the guy. And it was his first and last name, Khalil. Went by Cleo. Did anybody know Cleo? Tell him to call me. I hadn't seen him since like 2005. But this is a different one. This isn't the guy who used to work at Valley View Mall. He was actually participating in the Columbia protests over the last few semesters here. And this is, it's fun to see that the Palestinians will parachute into a festival, start slaughtering the kids there. People are just there to dance and have fun. Maybe exit sobriety for a few moments. But the response to that was, we're going to have rallies for these guys. We're going to have rallies for these terrorists that are attacking Israel. Okay. Take a bunch of hostages, kill a bunch of families, and then go back to Gaza and play victim. All right. So in America, you're allowed to have your freedom of speech, even if I disagree with it, even if you think what Hamas did is awesome. And maybe you do think the Jewish people should be eradicated or from the river to the sea or whatever have you. However, if you're not an American, should your Constitution protect you from saying stuff like that in America? Let's add another element to it, because this is where we're at. Not only are you here and you're a guest, you're not a natural citizen. You're here on a visa, student visa. And even though you say things that I disagree with, I'm still not so sure that that alone should get you kicked out of the country. However, there's two other aggravating factors in Mahmoud Khalil's situation. Number one, he's part of a group that is supportive of terrorism and terrorists and the whole ideology. One of the mission statements of the group that he is one of the leaders of is the eradication of Western civilization. Sounds pretty radical, doesn't it? Sounds pretty extreme. Sounds like something that maybe we don't want to invite this guy here. Of all the people that want to come here, millions and millions of people are waiting in line legally. Maybe we should skip the line of the Death to America guy with someone who actually likes this country. And the other aggravating factor is there was a lot of laws broken in the protests that his group was a part of. And it's not anything great. They didn't go out and commit mass murder, and they didn't go burn down buildings. But you're not supposed to camp out on campus overnight. You're not supposed to block buildings. You're not supposed to damage property. All this stuff is illegal. And then the big one that I think is illegal, but whether it's illegal or not, it's completely reprehensible, is the videos you see of people who are part of the protest that his group was leading in that were blocking Jewish kids from going to class. I don't know if you remember seeing those videos from a couple semesters ago, literally blocking Jewish students from going to class. At Columbia, there were some colleges in California where that happened, I believe. I just remember seeing the videos and thinking, oh my God, Mom, Democrats are standing in schoolhouse doorways again. So after all that, Trump and his new regime decided that if you're going to behave like that, you're going to be deported. So this guy has since been arrested. Now, technically, he hadn't been deported yet. He's been taken from wherever he was picked up over in the New York City area. And now he's at some detention facility in Louisiana, last I heard.
New York City!
No, that's where he was picked up. So then we have Donald Trump showing up with Elon Musk in front of a Tesla, because he was saying some nice things about Tesla with Elon yesterday. And standing in front of a Cybertruck and a Model S, he's actually shopping for a new Tesla now. He was asked about this guy's case. And so his statement here rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and they think this is just a shredding of the Constitution and literally Hitler.
President Trump, there's this protest leader from Columbia University that the industry to deport. He said that it's arrested because of diversity.
I think we ought to get them all out of the country. They're troublemakers, they're agitators. They don't love our country. We ought to get them the hell out. I think that guy we ought to get him. I heard his statements too. They were plenty bad. And I think we ought to get him the hell out of the country. I watched them. I watched tapes specifically. I watched tapes. And you can have them. Okay? You can have them. And you can have the rest of them. Let them go to school. Let them learn. Columbia used to be a good school. Now it's been overrun because of bad leadership.
Okay, so how is that being treated in the media? Well, clearly, that's exactly what Hitler would do, y'all.
Yeah, Mark, absolutely. And, I've been doing.
Sorry, this is Mark Elias on MSNBC.
A lot of reading in the last few weeks and months.
So much reading.
You know who instituted a system of justice like this?
Tell me who.
The Nazis.
Hey,
and that
Nazis!
transformed the legal establishment
I know, we're literally Hitler. I got it. Well, let me play you the fun one here. Scott Jennings, who has my dream job on CNN, had to face off against 4 people who disagreed with him at the table. And how do you lose this argument? This guy that's saying death to America, breaking laws, protesting in favor of terrorists, getting deported. You're going to support this guy?
He's a resident alien. He can be deported under U.S. law for if the Secretary of State has any reasonable ground to believe he would have a potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequence. And you mentioned the student organization. The student organization put out. Let me finish.
But before you move on, because I think that's a really important point, right? That's the statute that they're using.
Yeah.
Have you seen any evidence to suggest that there is actually a serious reason to believe that this student is going to be a threat to national security?
I mean, I've certainly watched the abomination that's gone on at Columbia and Barnard and other places, and I will just tell you,
threat to national security.
And I'll just tell you that
I'm not going to let you move on because this is.
I'll tell you why it's a threat to national security if you let me answer you.
Well, Scott,
do you want me to answer you or not?
Okay.
His organization says we are dedicated fighting for the total eradication of Western civilization.
Okay.
He's not a citizen. He doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, well, just because he wants us all to die doesn't mean we can't live next door to him, I guess is their argument. Should Mahmoud Khalil be deported? Is this a violation of free speech? Are we shredding the Constitution? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Yeah, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the curious situation of Mahmoud Khalil. He's a guy who is the leader of a group that was participating in the pro-Palestinian protests on the campus of Columbia. And the combination, it wasn't just, they didn't go round up everyone that protested. They didn't go round up everyone who said the things that he said. But they did go round up the people who were in charge of the group that broke several laws and broke several, some of them are criminal laws. But it's nothing huge. It's not like we're dealing with capital punishment. It's not like we're dealing with an armed robbery here. But, property damage, trespassing, blocking people's progress, disturbing the peace. I mean, if you want to throw the book at these guys, what they did is pretty comparable to what you probably saw on January 6th. Some guys being in buildings where they weren't exactly invited. Most of the people there weren't even students at Columbia. There was an element of organization to that, and he's one of the leaders. And he's part of a group that seeks to destroy Western civilization. So if you add up all that, you add up a guy who's here on a student visa, he's participating in protests, his group is blocking Jewish kids from going to school. They've broken laws, but it's not anything major. He is part of a group that not only supports terrorism, wants to eradicate the United States as it is. It sounds like pretty good grounds for removal for me. I mean, if we don't remove this guy, what we have to wait for him to stab somebody first or do something worse? Or can't we find people who don't hate our country and import them instead? But it's being treated like this is it, man. This is the end of democracy. This is the end of free speech, end of the Constitution, right, Nicole Wallace?
It is a chapter in every book about how democracies die. When we started the Autocracy in America, It Could Happen Here series last spring, one of the questions that no one could ever explain to me was why the private sector sat on the sidelines, why they publicly acted totally disinterested on the question of whether or not we remain a democracy. It seems that disinterest and that abdication of any role as civic actors is coming due.
Yeah, that's right. Our Constitution is being shredded. We're losing our democracy. Back to the Scott Jennings table over at CNN. I played in the last segment. He pointed out that this guy's in a terror group. They want to eradicate Western civilization. And I'm asking you, should this guy be deported? 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. And they're still trying to make the case. Well, he's not radical. I mean, just because he wants to
described him having viewpoints that you disagree with. Again, is that enough to have someone lose their rights in this country?
He has viewpoints that, in my opinion, jeopardize the security of the United States.
But how?
He is obviously a radical who is here to foment.
No, he's not a radical at all.
No, he's not a radical.
So
States government.
He wants to destroy Western civilization.
Against the United States government.
You're saying eradicate Western civilization doesn't make you a radical?
Has he acted in any way that is violence against the United States government, as you just said?
I think these protests and the violence they have fomented and the intimidation and fear against the Jewish kids on these campuses is absolutely an act of insurrection against the United States.
And it also meets the technical definition of terrorism, violence or intimidation for a political cause What do you think? 800-288-9227. Terry in Lake Worth, you're on WBAP. Should Mahmoud Khalil be deported?
Absolutely. I believe he should be deported because he is a guest. And if you want to bring this home, think about having a guest at your home. You bring one in, they're nice, they're polite, they have manners, they treat your home with respect. You want to have them back. Then you have another guest over to your house. They're rude, they break things, they tear everything up, they spit in your face, they have no respect for you or your home. Do you want that one back? But here, the question, I believe, isn't should he be deported, because I don't think that should be a question at all. I want to know, how did he get a visa in the first place?
Well, look, a lot of this stuff wouldn't get picked up in a background check. I understand there would be mistakes, and even if we tried to screen some of these people out, they'd get through. But when they've clearly demonstrated that once they're here, what's in their heart and what they have in store for this country, I'm just baffled that people are defending this guy. He's not that radical. He shouldn't. And here's something I see it's constantly being reframed here, Terry, as, oh, well, you're against free speech, because you heard on the lady on CNN talking to Scott Jennings there. Oh, so you want him deported because you disagree with his speech? Well, no, I disagree like that. That the Cleveland Browns are a good team. I don't want you deported. It's what's in his speech. It's saying these horrible things about this country. It's being a part of an organization that openly says and supports the eradication of Western civilization, blocking Jewish students from going to college at Columbia, breaking laws in the protests, blocking streets, all this other stuff. No, it's not just his speech. It's what his speech says. And I think we're allowed. I think we should be allowed to deport people who are going to be that horrible.
I agree, but you actually have stated exactly why he should be deported, and it's not his speech. It's his actions.
Agree.
He can get up and say whatever he wants, right? And apparently he is. But his actions of harassing, terrorizing, breaking laws, and causing, public disturbances, whatever the legal term is, that is what gets you deported.
Love it, Terry in Lake Worth.
It's not what he said, it's what he does.
Agree totally. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That was easy. All right. I will let you know as soon as this guy leaves the country, or I'm just kind of concerned there's going to be some federal judge that just jumps up and blocks this. I mean, how many judges have come up and done completely irrational things, blocking things that seem completely logical to you? I don't know. I'm keeping my eye on it for you, though, so stay with the James Show. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk to Adam Lampert again. He's a senior care expert. And the caregiving industry, heavily reliant on immigrants, are they being affected by the new Trump 2.0 and deportation programs? We'll find out next on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Well, hey there. Welcome to The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. He loves me not. Did you pick this one, Garrett? So the deportations are continuing, even though it's not dominating the headlines today. Dominating the headlines is tariffs, and now the spending bill. They were just voting on that in the House. And what's going on with Tesla, what's going on with this guy getting deported. But still in the background, it started off at the beginning of the Trump 2.0 administration, the whole deportation program. It's still going in the background. A lot of industries are being affected. My next guest, Adam Lampert's coming back on the show. And let us know how this is affecting some industries that have to do with long-term care and healthcare and in-home care. A lot of the caregiving industry relies on immigrants. Are they getting pinched already, Adam?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Definitely. First of all, recognize that 20% of the U.S. labor force is made up of immigrants. And in hospitality, construction, agriculture, and in healthcare, where I am, there's a larger percentage of immigrants that are filling a lot of very important roles. So the fact is that in our industry, there are a lot of immigrants, both documented and undocumented. And as we lose immigrants, we absolutely feel the pinch. And when we feel the pinch, our customers feel the pinch, because when there is a change in the pool, meaning if people are deported, if they self-deport because as a function of people leaving on their own, it creates a vacuum, and the vacuum has to be filled, and we end up having to pay more money, and this creates inflation that's borne by our customers, which is you and me.
All right, hang on. We have to deal with some immature people. No, this is not Adam Lambert, the singer. This is Adam Lampert. And you're with, what is it, Manchester?
Manchester Care Homes and Cambridge Caregivers. I'm based here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We serve both Dallas-Fort Worth and also Houston.
So what percentage of your workforce would you say in your institution is immigrant?
Well, in our company, 80% of our staff are foreign-born. And to be clear, we don't go out and place ads looking for immigrants. It's that immigrants are answering the call. These are the people who are working in these jobs. These are very hard jobs. They're not the highest paying jobs, but we have a large contingent of immigrants who are filling them.
Right. And so, I mean, we hope that they're all going to be on the up and up and legal immigrants, but I'm sure some facilities out there are, even if they are all legal, maybe they have a family member that they brought over that's going to get picked up and deported. So do y'all have any other plans to deal with this other than just brace for higher costs or having to hire new people?
Well, let me give you a bigger sense of the issue. First of all, in our industry, I probably see about a quarter of all the caregiving business. There's about 3/4 of this industry that is in the shadows. Think about this for a minute.
Explain.
Okay, so your neighbors, people in your are hiring directly people for work.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you think about caregivers just in your neighbor's home, they're not running a background check. They're not looking to see if they're documented or undocumented. But still, these represent part of the pool of caregivers in our industry here in North Texas. And so if private neighbors of yours are employing undocumented workers and those undocumented workers leave, it still affects us. It is still this pool. And the point is that this is very costly. That when this happened 5 years ago, where we had a shock to the system and many people left the industry, we had 410,000 care workers leave our industry, it created a vacuum. And what happened was that we were forced to pay our staff more money, and in return, we turned around and charged our clients more money. So whether you realize it or not, you're paying higher costs today because of this pool that was shrinking. And now this is only going to get worse, right? Today, 11,000 people turn 65 years old every single day, 4 million this year. And so we're going to have the Bureau of Labor Statistics tells us that we're going to need 1 million healthcare workers every year for the foreseeable future. And we're moving in the wrong direction. We need more workers in our industry because if we don't have them, it simply means they're going to be higher costs. They're going to be borne by us, by Americans, by people who need the services, who need care for mom or dad. Our costs are going to go up. So we definitely need to be thinking about solutions for this.
All right, Adam Lampert from Manchester Place Care Homes. I appreciate your insight on the situation. Good luck keeping those workers.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, I'm going to announce the location of the next James Show listener meetup. I already gave some hints earlier. It's going to be in Plano, but where? March 25th, 7 p.m., but where? I'll tell you next. Also coming to town, James Taylor and his all-star band. It's a different James, not me. It's going to be at Dickies Arena September 17th. If you want to try and win some tickets off of us, text the word FIRE to 800-288-9227. Text FIRE to 800-288-9227 for your chance to win. The rest of us get tickets at livenation.com. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Do you hear the disappointment in my voice? No one called to argue with me. No one called to argue. Say, yeah, I think Trump's crashing the economy. It's all his fault. I was hoping someone would take the bait there. No one wants to make the case. Good. Maybe we're all a little grown up today. All right, my next guest, John Schultz, coming back on the James Show, which I am interested in what he has to say about this new revelation here that artificial intelligence keeps showing up with students cheating on their homework. All right, John Schultz, how far has this gone so far? I have kids. What do I need to be looking out for?
Well, it's kind of interesting to this whole, AI piece in the classroom. And, I think it's just an evolution of technology over the years. Back in the day, when calculators were being introduced, we thought that was going to change the world and kids were going to come out not smarter. But I think the important thing what AI does is it hopefully the positive comes out where it allows students to be more critical thinkers. So I think that's one of the things that I'm seeing the younger generation coming out is this critical thinking aspect where I think we need to get them to start thinking more about that kind of stuff. The whole thing about cheating and using AI to write papers or do some of their work there can be easily caught. The thing about AI, it uses patterns. And if you're writing on any particular subject, you can see distinct patterns that are being created where the texture of the comments and the paragraphs are all pretty much the same length. So if you're writing in a sentence, pretty much all the same length.
Well, I was thinking along that line. Sorry to interrupt, John. But sure. if you just in the same way students are using AI to write the essays and write their papers, teachers and academics can use AI to go filter out and discover which ones, have the red flags that you just described.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the things I did a test one time using simple Chat GPT. I basically created a document, using my own language and everything, and I said, okay, give me the percentage of this article, of this document written using AI, and it came back 0%. I then took that same document and enhanced it with AI, and it came back with a percentage of basically 70% of that was edited and used by AI. So even AI, you can use it against itself. It recognizes patterns. It recognizes things that are commonly used within the AI structure to teach itself. The other component to this is there's a lot of misinformation that comes out of AI today. And so it's really easy to start to identify that misinformation unless you validate that. So if a student writes a paper or does some homework and he doesn't validate the correct answer, that's a pretty much a red flag when it comes to somebody has used some alternative method to try to come up with an answer.
Well, and then also part of me is glad to see students adopting AI so quickly because that's the environment that they're going to graduate into. The workplace is going to incorporate AI. They'll never not be with AI for the rest of their life. So minus the younger they learn how to use it, the better.
I agree with you. So, we could always focus on the negative, but I think some of the positives that are coming out of AI, it'll allow the students, the classroom to develop personalized learning experiences for the student. It will also enhance efficiency and productivity. So now the mundane tasks that we were tasked with to do will basically be accomplished through AI. And again, it affords the student to focus on the deeper learning and the more critical thinking. The other one is access to immediate assistance. So if you have an AI chat or a chat bot or something like that, and if the teacher is busy, you can then use AI to get that assistance that you may need in trying to learn in the classroom. So there's a lot of positive benefits to AI. I know we always focus on the negative, but I look at some of these technologies as kind of like cops and robbers. The robber is always going to try to stay one step ahead, but sooner or later the cops catch up. So it's always a cat and mouse kind of approach that we see here. So again, use AI and turn it against whatever, tools that you have out there. And, you can compete very well in regards to that.
Well, I also feel like this echoes what happened in my childhood where my parents saw the amount of time me and my friends spent on the computer. And they're like, you need to get off the computer and get out in the real world. You're not going to spend the rest of your life on a computer. You need to be ready, to have a job. And now we all have jobs where we spend most of our time on a computer. And then for the generation that's kind of coming into adulthood right now, they got fussed their entire lives for being on their cell phone all the time. And now we're all on our cell phone all the time, and half of it's work related. So I think AI is just going to be this generation's iteration of that.
I have to agree with you 100%. Technology is always going to continue to advance. And the key thing is how do we basically take that technology and use it for good? I view technology such as AI or the internet or any other kind of technology out there as agnostic. And the more we can focus on the positive and the benefits that it produces to us in society, I think is the benefit to all. And it's going to allow us to do more with less, which is what we all are trying to strive to do. Have more free time to be able to basically focus on things we want to do.
All right, John Schultz, tell them about the work you do outside of WBAP.
Well, one of the things is we actually use AI in our product. We're a software-based company focusing in the golf industry. We try to help out the golf course to improve their selection of hole locations, improve the management of the facility, and enhance the player's experience. So AI is an integral part of our tools when we develop the software, as well as a product of what we do to try to learn from our customers' experience. And we're here in Dallas, and so we've been thriving for the last 15 years and really excited about the upcoming technologies and how we can bring those in to make life easier for the people on the golf course and enhance everybody's experience out there.
Your website.
It's easylocator.com is our website. You can reach us on Twitter. You can reach us on Facebook, Instagram. We're very active in the social media aspect of it. We'd love to have conversations with anybody out there about the game of golf.
All right, there you go. John Schultz, appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Dude, how fun is that job? You're mixing AI and golf. I know there's some people out there that they're starting to sweat hard. They're getting so excited. Coming up next, we're going to talk about this guy that's getting deported, this Palestinian activist at Columbia. Some people are saying, well, this is what Hitler would do. Other people are saying, yeah, that kind of makes a lot of sense, deporting someone who wants to destroy Western civilization. What do you think? You'll hear both sides coming up next on The James Show. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.